if you deliberately do a thing and at the moment it looks like the thing that you want to do,
Okay.
you did it for a reason, and any second guessing, any doubts, it doesn't mean you have to keep the thing, but it means you did it for a reason and you should trust yourself.
Okay, great. Ben Gencarelle ist heute hier. Er hat nicht nur dieses Bild gemalt, vor dem er während des Podcasts steht, nein, er hat unter anderem ein zweites Bild gemalt, welches mit Licht spielt, mit Neonlicht und damit, wenn man es beleuchtet, wie zum Leben erwacht. Am Ende dieses Videos habe ich eine kurze Sequenz in den Podcast reingestellt. Ben lebt seit 5 Jahren in Deutschland und kommt ursprünglich aus den USA. Er spricht gutes Deutsch, damit er sich aber konzentrieren kann, war es einfacher auf Englisch. Und der Podcast bekommt zusätzlich einen kleinen internationalen Anstrich, genauso wie die Leinwand im Kunstvereins Familie Montez unter der Honselbrücke. Ach so, außerdem hat Ben kleine Figuren in andere Werke dieser Leinwand reingemalt. Ich habe sie gesucht, gefunden und zeige euch am Ende des Videos Fotos. Ben, the stage is yours.
Ich komme aus Amerika. Ich bin hier seit 2015. Wir sind hier gegen das große Thema, das He Who Must Not Be Named. Ich bin total müde mit dieser Topic. So, ich habe Kunst und Elektroingenieur studiert.
Wow.
Die beiden in two different lives.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, and I'm always trying to integrate the two worlds, but it's immer schwierig. So verschiedene topic things.
Of course, totally different.
Yeah. I find that some of the rules and iterative processes that I learned as an engineer help me shut off the "you can't do this" bullshit function of the artist, because you have to do something. And so as an engineer, I have to work. I get paid to work. I don't get paid anything to sit around and feel bad about myself. And so if I can come up with some bullshit that might solve something, I just put something down and then smear over it and keep going. And so I work very, very iteratively in art as well. I mean, this painting, I almost completely. I was looking for a white to paint over it completely, and then I said, no. The rule is the one rule is that anything that gets painted over has to be integrated. The overpainting has to be integrated into the central theme. So if there's a major mistake, there's no real accidents. There's a reason that your brain's doing this shit.
Okay.
Because I've been doing this for 20 years. So even if I'm completely convinced I fucked up, the brain and body don't let you completely fuck something up.
Okay, so even irrational things have some reason
some
appear.
Reason, yeah. I mean, it's one thing if you spill a bucket of paint or something, but if you deliberately do a thing and at the moment it looks like the thing that you want to do,
Okay.
you did it for a reason, and any second guessing, any doubts, it doesn't mean you have to keep the thing, but it means you did it for a reason and you should trust yourself.
Okay, great.
Kind of thing.
So, it's very interesting. I looked at your painting, and you made several of it through the wall.
Yeah.
So these little persons, I would say.
The little creatures.
Yeah, creatures. Can you say something about them?
They're sort of. I spent a lot of time as an experimental audio person.
Okay.
And my problem was always that there were sounds and feelings that took too long to make, that were too imprecise. And so those eventually manifested as the creatures, where the concept is just in and out, and eventually knowing that, the brain seeks form, whatever this is in that moment is representative of the little tendrils of my brain that are misfiring or firing correctly, and so each creature represents a thought, a feeling, an emotion, a frustration, a reaction to stimuli, a way of dealing with. A lot of these sketches started. They restarted after having a long break because I thought I wasn't a visual artist. They restarted when I was stuck in 4 or 5 hour long PowerPoint meetings. And my meeting notes ended up being a 20-page book of creatures and sketches and single one-offs. And I had always been very inspired by artists like Basquiat, Dali, anybody that really focused on disconnecting the requirements of. I'm going to sound like an idiot. The automatic feeling, as a reflection of who you are. The words maybe don't come out, but they'll come out somewhere. So,
okay.
So getting that unfiltered, unjudged, unjuried thing out, while at the same time allowing the conscious mind to comment on it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So these figures, creatures, represent somehow a tone.
Yeah, a little tone,
or a little idea, or something abstract,
yeah,
which you put in. So because you put some of these creatures into other
because
works.
The creatures are my sort of the space that I occupy. Whatever little influence we have, whatever little piece we have, we put it somewhere, and they don't always come out great. They don't always come out the way I want them to, but they're there, and
that's nice.
Yeah,
nice.
There's some little point. I think a lot of people feel, especially Americans, feel like they have to make a big, grandiose statement. But I'm the small spaces, the places in between, the little things that you can change are important to me.
Okay, great, thank you. Very interesting question, or last question maybe, but
Sure.
I'm very interested in your last, the painting on the right side,
Yeah.
which is reflecting light, and as you pointed out before when we talked, that it is a neon light. Yeah?
There's a mix of. It's sorry.
You need to be in.
Yeah, sorry. It's a mix of incredibly reflective iridescent paints. A hyper matte white layer, and then under that you have the neon and the day glow and the glow in the dark stuff, and it's all playing with light and figuring out the balance of, well, the normal eye is just going to see this, but if we have something that, so I don't get bored. So I can always just have a little extra, or an Easter egg in the thing, and it gives me a little bit of like, hey. Here. And there is a real bias in the fine art world against things like neon and sparkles and glitter and I love fucking with those things where you have someone who has a very high expectation of something and then they realize like they've been admiring a picture that's covered in the cheapest, shittiest glitter. But it's buried in because it's not like, oh, look, I put glitter on something. It's integrated. It's part of the thing. And so, I did that here too. There's a bunch of glitter buried in the painting.
Okay.
And I love that sort of. We have a thing. It looks. It works.
Yeah.
And then there's just something else going on. And that goes, I guess, back to my musical background of. I always wanted to have little hidden things in the music, and I always wanted to have little Easter eggs in any electrical project I would design. That sort of thing. It's just it's. The creatures are either a physical thing or they're the little Easter eggs.
Okay, cool. So everything comes together.
Everything's
in the end.
Yeah, and it takes. I think the hardest thing is recognizing where your brain's letting things coming together and stopping fighting against it and just going, fuck it, I know what I'm doing. And it might not be the greatest thing in the world, but I'm doing it, so get it done.
And you have then also a musical background, so like three professions, like artist and then engineer and.
Well, the only one that's ever paid any money has been the engineering. But I did experimental audio, and then my wife and I were in a rock band together for 6 years. I was singer, and I produced all the music for the band, and then I've done 20 years worth of noise music, music concrete, or found sounds, or just pure white ambient harsh noise kind of stuff.
Very cool.
My most recent project, painting-wise, was I did a open source Creative Commons licensed 28 square format paintings that I licensed freely to musicians. And I had the first two, next one's in production, and I had the first cassettes come in my door that had my artwork on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was great. It was just, the turnaround was insane. I said, in a couple of years I'll have a couple pieces, and got some really, really talented artists who just like, here, let me use your art, and then they sent me a cassette with my painting on it, which was the coolest thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
Thank you, Ben. That was great spending time with you by learning about your art. So, morgen holt mich unter anderem Cornelia Lela-Heyer auf den Teppich der Tatsachen zurück. Und ich verabschiede mich von einem ereignisreichen und interessanten 9. Tag des Projekts Ein ganz normaler Herbst, nur anders, 2020. Gute Nacht.